To bring in Boris Johnson as we wait for the results here in Witney. It really is a foregone conclusion, very safe Conservative seat, and it certainly is in Uxbridge as well now. Mr Johnson, congratulations. What's it like being back in Parliament?
Thank you very much, Kay. Well, it's fantastic, and obviously my congratulations really are to the people who've been campaigning in London. Obviously we're very sad to have lost some great London MPs tonight, but you've also seen extraordinary success by Conservatives in London, in Twickenham, I think, in Kingston, in Sutton. These are areas. I frankly, last week I've been campaigning in all of those areas. I never thought we'd win Twickenham. It's absolutely fantastic to see what's happening there, and clearly, Kay, tonight is an astonishing night for the Conservative Party if you consider where we were only a few hours ago, which was, looking at polls saying it was neck and neck. It turns out the British people had the most amazing surprise up their sleeve.
What happened? What changed the polls, do you think? The polls aren't usually this wrong. Well, no, the polls very often are completely right, but on this occasion, the opinion polls, all 11 of them, were totally wrong in my view. And I think it's because they underestimated the great latent, immanent common sense of the British people when faced with that choice. Do you want to go backwards to failed 1970s style policies of socialism under Ed Miliband, or do you want to go forwards with sensible, pragmatic, inclusive one nation policies that the Conservatives have been trying to advocate that are going to take this country forward? And I think the mistake of Ed Miliband, and that this is what I imagine the post-mortem will reveal, is that he basically vacated the centre ground that Tony Blair had squatted on with so authoritatively. He moved his party off to the left, and I think he's left the field open for a sensible centre-right party to develop policies that are ready for the benefit of everybody in the country. And that, I think, was the goof. Okay.
And that explains where we are today.
Okay, but you can't get carried away, Mr Johnson, let's be honest. Only one seat in Scotland, you have retained that, but it does look as though the SNP are going to have 50 odd, and they are going to be a thorn in your side in Westminster.
Now that's a very good point, Kay, and I think we've got to focus on that as a country. We've got to look at the reality of what has happened to Scottish politics and to politics in England, and we've got to think of a way of keeping the show on the road and making sure that we perpetuate our great United Kingdom. And I think that can be done. And by the way, I think that lots and lots of people who voted Scottish nationalist do not in their heart of hearts actually want to sever all links or to break up the UK in quite the dramatic way that you might think. I think that people will want to keep together many elements of that union. Whatever happens to be the crown, the passport, a sense of identity. To do now is to sit down together in no great rush and to work out what could be a new settlement, a new federal solution for this country. And I think it should also involve, by the way, more empowerment of cities like London and Manchester, giving local people more of a say over the taxes they raise and a say over their own destiny. I think that is the way forward for our country.
Mr Johnson,
it will be economically sensible as well.
Just hearing that Esther McVey has lost her seat. Esther McVey has lost her seat, so there's no room for complacency at all, which tends to suggest that you're going to have to do a deal with somebody. Given what's happening as far as the Lib Dems are concerned, they've been completely destroyed this evening. Who are you going to do deals with, do you think, in order to get over that line?
I think honestly, Kay, obviously we can't tell whether this exit poll is completely accurate, but it seems to be being more or less borne out by events. Esther's been a fantastic MP. She was subject to a particularly virulent and unpleasant campaign to unseat her. I'm very, very sorry that she's gone. But overall, what we're seeing, I think, is a Conservative Party, much to everybody's surprise, actually being miles ahead of the Labour Party in Parliament, and that is what counts. And I think that David Cameron has massive authority to govern now, to take the country forward, to proceed with all the measures that we want. I think he will do. I think he will do.
But I think the
But
government
Mr.
of the
Johnson,
country
he has
must
to
be
have,
carried on, and there is no alternative.
he has to have the support of the House to do that. And in order to have the support of the House, he needs to have not only the most seats and the popular vote as well, but he needs to be able to get the Queen's speech through. And in order to do that, he needs to be able to have a working majority.
Okay, let's wait and see whether or not what the night yields. Let's see what the night yields. It may be even that possibility is there. So, you know, I don't exclude that. And what is certainly the case is that most people looking at this result, if you're asked to say, well, who won the election, the answer is plainly the Conservative Party, in the sense that they are miles the biggest supplier of parliamentarians to our seat of democracy at Westminster, and that it is up to them to form a government and to take the country forward. And that is what David Cameron, I'm sure, is going to be saying in a few hours' time.
Mr. Johnson, thank you.